History is filled with whispers from the past, quiet echoes of civilizations, discoveries, and objects that seem to defy explanation. Some of these discoveries are well known, celebrated in textbooks and documentaries, but others remain largely forgotten, hidden in dusty archives, remote locations, or buried beneath layers of earth and time. These are the discoveries that inspire curiosity, inviting us to pause, reflect, and wonder. They remind us that human history is not a single narrative, but a tapestry of mysteries, triumphs, and unanswered questions. Even the most ordinary-seeming artifact can hold an extraordinary story, waiting patiently to be understood. From ancient cities lost to the jungle, to strange tools whose purpose has eluded modern science, to monuments that seem impossibly precise, the world is dotted with enigmas. Each discovery challenges our assumptions about what humans were capable of, what knowledge they possessed, and how they understood the world around them. These mysteries are not merely puzzles. They are invitations to explore the intersection of human ingenuity, culture, and imagination. They teach us that history is alive, not static, and that the past can still surprise us in subtle, profound ways. In this journey, we will explore a collection of 100 mysterious ancient discoveries, each remarkable in its own way. Some are grand in scale, while others are small yet significant. Some are widely studied, while others are nearly forgotten. Together, they form a panorama of human curiosity and creativity, offering glimpses into civilizations, technologies, and ideas that may have been lost to time. As we begin, we step gently into a world where the known and the unknown coexist, where every stone, artifact, and ruin carries a story, and where the mysteries of the past beckon us to listen closely, imagine deeply, and reflect quietly. Across the world, countless artifacts lie hidden in plain sight, objects crafted by human hands yet shrouded in mystery. Some are simple tools, worn and weathered, while others are intricately decorated, suggesting purposes that go beyond the ordinary. These forgotten artifacts provide glimpses into the daily lives, beliefs, and ingenuity of ancient peoples. Yet they also pose questions that may never be fully answered. How were they made? What knowledge did their creators possess? Why do they exist in places that seem unexpected or improbable? Each artifact is a puzzle, inviting both contemplation and imagination. Some artifacts appear to belong to an era far older than expected, challenging our understanding of technological development. Others are found far from where similar items exist, hinting at trade, migration, or cultural connections that have been overlooked. Even small objects can carry immense significance. A carved figurine, a delicate piece of jewelry, or a strangely shaped tool may hold symbolic meaning, spiritual purpose, or evidence of advanced craftsmanship. The sheer variety of these objects reminds us that human creativity and curiosity have always been boundless, often leaving traces that are subtle yet profound. In examining these forgotten artifacts, we find ourselves connecting with lives long past. We imagine the hands that shaped them, the environments in which they were used, and the intentions behind their creation. Each object is a quiet witness to the human story, bridging centuries and continents. The mysteries they hold are not obstacles but invitations to observe, to reflect, and to imagine. As we move from these artifacts, we naturally encounter the grander structures and monuments that further reveal the remarkable ingenuity of ancient civilizations. Some of the most enduring enigmas of human history are found in stone. Monuments, megaliths, and carefully constructed sites rise from the earth, remarkable for their scale, precision, and alignment with the natural world. The pyramids, massive stone circles, and ancient temples speak not only to human ingenuity, but to mysteries that continue to elude explanation. Each monument is a silent story, carved into rock, aligned with the stars, and shaped with care, yet leaving many questions unanswered. How were these massive stones transported? What techniques allowed such precision? What purposes did these structures serve beyond the obvious? Megalithic constructions across continents share a surprising consistency in precision and scale. From South America to Asia and Europe, stones were quarried, shaped, and fitted with remarkable accuracy, sometimes without mortar, suggesting knowledge and skills that remain astonishing today. Their placement often aligns with astronomical events, solstices, or lunar cycles, hinting at an understanding of the cosmos deeply intertwined with cultural and spiritual life. The careful observation of the heavens, translated into stone, reflects an intricate knowledge and an enduring desire to leave a mark that transcends time. These monuments are more than stone. They are invitations to reflection. Standing before them, one senses the labor, coordination, and vision required to bring them into existence. They remind us that human creativity has always been vast, combining practicality, imagination, and perhaps knowledge that has been partially lost to history. As we move from these monumental achievements, our path naturally leads to the hidden cities, lost civilizations, and secret spaces that further reveal the extraordinary depth of human ingenuity and the mysteries that endure beneath the surface. Hidden deep within forests, deserts, and mountains lie the remnants of civilizations that time has almost forgotten. These lost cities and vanished cultures whisper their stories through crumbling walls, scattered pottery shards, and the faint outlines of streets once bustling with life. Unlike the well-documented empires that dominate textbooks, these settlements remain veiled in mystery, offering only glimpses of human achievement, daily life, and social complexity. They invite the imagination to wander slowly through deserted plazas and silent temples, to imagine the rhythm of life, the laughter and toil, and the rituals that once filled these spaces. There's a quiet melancholy in exploring these ruins, a sense of both reverence and curiosity as the past reaches out from beneath layers of soil, sand, and vegetation to speak to the present. Some lost cities are discovered in the most unexpected places. Dense jungles, for example, can conceal entire urban centers, their stone structures hidden beneath vines, roots, and mist. Satellite imagery and aerial surveys have begun to reveal outlines of structures that had remained invisible to the human eye for centuries. These discoveries often challenge prior assumptions about population, technological capabilities, and the complexity of social organization in regions long considered remote or sparsely inhabited. Walking through these overgrown streets, or imagining the bustling life that once filled them, encourages a contemplation of both human resilience and impermanence. How did these cities flourish? And why did they eventually fall silent, leaving only whispers behind? Deserts, too, guard secrets beneath shifting sands. Ancient settlements, caravan routes, and ceremonial sites have been uncovered in places where the landscape appears harsh and inhospitable. These discoveries speak to the ingenuity of humans in adapting to their environment, creating thriving communities even in the most challenging conditions. Yet, the desert also erases much of the past, and what remains is often fragmentary. A partially collapsed wall, an abandoned marketplace, a solitary statue weathered by wind and sun. The tension between the clarity of these remnants and the vast unknown surrounding them ignites a quiet fascination, prompting reflection on the lives of those who inhabited these spaces and the mysteries of their disappearance. Hidden cities beneath mountains or within remote valleys present another layer of intrigue. In some cases, natural caves were expanded into complex dwellings and storage areas, combining human craftsmanship with the protection offered by the terrain. These subterranean or semi-subterranean settlements reveal a sophisticated understanding of construction, climate management, and defensive planning. Exploring, or even imagining, the winding passageways, silent chambers, and secret exits of these lost cities invites a sense of awe and quiet suspense. The contrast between the security offered by these hidden enclaves and the mystery of why they were eventually abandoned deepens the sense of wonder. Trade and cultural exchange often connect these lost cities in ways not immediately visible. Artifacts found far from their origin, stylistic similarities in architecture, and shared motifs in art and religious iconography suggest networks of communication, commerce, and knowledge that spanned vast distances. These discoveries hint at the interconnectedness of human civilization long before the modern world, challenging assumptions about isolation and the flow of ideas. The quiet, intricate threads linking disparate settlements create a tapestry of human ingenuity that continues to inspire curiosity and contemplation. Each city, no matter how small or remote, represents a node in a web of civilization that we are only beginning to trace. The mysteries deepen when we consider why these cities were lost in the first place. Natural disasters, climate change, resource depletion, invasions, or internal strife may have contributed, but in many cases, the causes remain speculative. Archaeological evidence often provides clues but rarely delivers definitive answers, leaving a space for reflection, imagination, and wonder. These cities, now silent, were once vibrant centers of human activity. Their quiet abandonment reminds us of the impermanence of human endeavor and the fragile nature of societal memory. Yet it also highlights the resilience of human curiosity as later generations rediscover and study these forgotten places. Artifacts within these cities often offer tantalizing hints of cultural sophistication. Pottery decorated with complex patterns, tools made with surprising precision, religious figurines, and inscriptions in languages yet to be fully deciphered all provide glimpses into the daily lives, beliefs, and knowledge of these lost peoples. Sometimes, the objects suggest technological or scientific understanding far more advanced than expected for the era, hinting at knowledge that has been lost, forgotten, or intentionally hidden. Each discovery encourages careful observation, patience, and a quiet curiosity, as the full story often emerges only in fragments, like a mosaic assembled slowly over time. Architecture, too, conveys information beyond the practical. Urban planning, temple placement, defensive structures, and water management systems reveal sophisticated thinking and foresight. The alignment of streets, the orientation of buildings toward celestial bodies, and the integration of natural terrain into construction demonstrate both technical skill and symbolic intent. These details underscore the complexity of these societies and invite reflection on the intersection of functionality, aesthetics, and spiritual or cultural meaning. In exploring them, we are reminded that human civilization has always been an intricate blend of practicality and imagination, logic and mystery. There's a poetic resonance in these lost cities that extends beyond bricks, stones, or artifacts. They evoke questions about continuity and change, about memory and oblivion. They remind us that civilizations rise and fall, yet the traces they leave behind endure, silently informing and inspiring those who come after. The quiet majesty of these ruins encourages a slow, meditative engagement with history, allowing the mind to wander through imagined markets, temples, and homes, to hear the distant echoes of human life, and to feel the pulse of societies that have long since vanished. As we move from exploring lost cities to examining objects that seem out of place, artifacts that challenge timelines, materials, and assumed levels of ancient knowledge, the foundations of curiosity have been laid. The hidden cities and forgotten civilizations we have encountered serve as a gentle reminder that history is far richer, more complex, and more mysterious than it often appears in textbooks. Each discovery, whether a sprawling city or a single artifact, offers a doorway into contemplation, bridging the known with the unknown, the past with the imagination, and inviting us to continue our journey into the enigmatic and the extraordinary. Some of the most intriguing discoveries lie not in sprawling cities or monumental structures, but in objects so small and seemingly ordinary that their significance can easily be overlooked. Yet these items, quietly resting in museums, storage rooms, or private collections, often challenge everything we think we know about history. They are objects out of place, anomalies that appear to exist at times or in locations where they should not, as though fragments of a forgotten world slipped through the cracks of time. Each one tells a story of human ingenuity, yet also raises questions that may never be fully answered. In contemplating them, we enter a space where curiosity thrives and imagination stretches gently into the unknown. Consider small metal artifacts discovered in geological layers far older than the civilizations believed to have produced them. These items, sometimes intricately shaped or mysteriously corroded, suggest a mastery of materials and techniques that seem almost impossibly advanced for their time. Archaeologists and scientists have debated their origins, their purpose, and even the circumstances of their burial. Were they ceremonial objects, practical tools, or remnants of experiments lost to history? The questions they provoke are as compelling as the objects themselves, quietly reminding us that the line between what we know and what we can imagine is often thin and blurred. Some objects seem to defy not only chronology, but geography. Artifacts composed of materials not native to the regions in which they were found suggest long-distance trade networks or migrations that have yet to be fully understood. A small piece of pottery or a carved figure might point to connections across continents, revealing a web of human interaction stretching further than previously imagined. In other cases, objects are found in contexts that appear entirely inappropriate. A metal tool embedded in ancient rock, a carved figurine in a layer predating written records. These anomalies challenge conventional timelines and invite us to reconsider assumptions about the capabilities and reach of ancient peoples. Even the simplest items can carry profound mystery. A small object, perhaps a carved stone, a delicate figurine, or an ornate tool, can speak to knowledge, beliefs, and practices now lost to time. The craftsmanship might hint at skills far beyond what surviving historical records suggest. Its purpose may be unclear, leaving room for speculation. Was it a token of religious devotion, a tool for daily life, or a symbolic artifact meant to convey information across generations? These objects occupy a unique space in history, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where human curiosity and creativity leave traces that continue to fascinate centuries later. Metal artifacts, in particular, have often confounded researchers. Ancient batteries, strangely shaped coins, and metal implements of unknown function suggest technological sophistication that seems ahead of their time. The methods used to forge, shape, or manipulate these metals remain partially mysterious, challenging modern assumptions about ancient metallurgy. In studying them, scientists often face a delicate balance, trying to reconcile known capabilities with evidence that suggests a level of knowledge or skill that seems extraordinary. The objects are silent teachers, speaking not with words, but through the very precision and ingenuity of their construction. Stone artifacts can be equally puzzling. Some feature carvings or inscriptions that appear advanced, abstract, or symbolic in ways that defy conventional interpretation. Others, like perfectly smooth or intricately shaped stone tools, suggest precision techniques that modern archaeologists find difficult to replicate. In each case, the object becomes a doorway into contemplation, inviting the mind to wander into scenarios of creation, use, and purpose that history cannot fully illuminate. These items bridge the gap between fact and speculation, offering a quiet thrill to those willing to linger in their presence and reflect upon their meaning. The mystery of objects out of place is often heightened by their isolation. Many were discovered far from other evidence of contemporary human activity. A single tool in a remote location, an intricate carving embedded in stone with no nearby settlement, or a delicate artifact found deep underground creates a paradox. Evidence of advanced skill where none is expected. These anomalies invite reflection on human ingenuity, exploration, and the possibility that knowledge was once more widespread or differently distributed than traditional historical narratives suggest. They provoke a gentle tension between skepticism and wonder, encouraging listeners to consider multiple possibilities without demanding definitive answers. Artifacts with uncertain purpose often carry a poetic resonance, engaging the imagination more than any historical record could. A mechanical device of unclear function, a carved object whose symbolic meaning is lost, or a tool of unknown utility invites us to reconstruct possible histories, to consider the hands that crafted it and the society that may have relied upon it. Each object becomes both a puzzle and a story, a delicate bridge between tangible reality and imaginative speculation. The calm act of observing, contemplating, and reflecting on these artifacts fosters a quiet, meditative curiosity that aligns perfectly with the sleep-friendly rhythm of this journey through history. Sometimes, objects out of place appear in clusters, creating even more tantalizing mysteries. A collection of strange tools, artifacts, or carvings found together can hint at an entire system of knowledge or practice that has been lost. These clusters allow us to imagine the culture that produced them, the techniques they mastered, the rituals they performed, and the ideas they valued. Even without full understanding, we can trace patterns, discern intention, and appreciate the depth of human thought encoded in these items. The very ambiguity of their existence allows the mind to explore endless possibilities, to connect dots across time and space in a contemplative, patient manner. The quiet fascination of objects out of place lies not just in their mystery, but in their invitation to think beyond conventional narratives. They challenge assumptions, encourage reflection, and awaken a sense of wonder that transcends the boundaries of time and place. Each artifact, whether metallic, stone, ceramic, or otherwise, embodies the enduring human impulse to create, experiment, and leave a mark upon the world. They remind us that history is not solely a record of what we can prove, but also a collection of questions, possibilities, and enigmas that continue to spark curiosity. As we move from these objects to the hidden worlds buried beneath the earth, the foundation of mystery and intrigue has been firmly laid. The artifacts out of place serve as a gentle reminder that human history is a complex tapestry, interwoven with achievements, knowledge, and unanswered questions. They invite listeners to slow down, to observe carefully, and to embrace the uncertainty that makes the past so endlessly fascinating. Each object is a quiet echo of ingenuity and imagination, a fragment of a story that continues to unfold even thousands of years after its creation. Through these discoveries, we are reminded that the past is not fixed or static. It is alive in the objects, the stones, and the tools left behind. They invite reflection, speculation, and quiet contemplation. And as we descend in the next section into subterranean cities, hidden tunnels, and forgotten underground chambers, the mysteries of these artifacts set the stage, guiding us into a world where the boundary between the known and the unknown becomes even more delicate, and where every stone, tool, and relic holds the promise of revelation. Beneath the surface of the earth lies a hidden world, one that has remained largely untouched for centuries, if not millennia. Underground cities, labyrinthine tunnels, and subterranean chambers offer a glimpse into human ingenuity, survival, and the mysteries of ancient life. Unlike the structures that rise boldly above the landscape, these hidden spaces are silent, shadowed, and intimate. They are places where the known world recedes, replaced by quiet darkness and the faint echo of lives once lived in careful concealment. To explore them is to enter a realm of stillness, a world where human curiosity and creativity are encoded in stone, passageways, and the careful planning of those who dwelled below the surface. Many underground settlements were constructed as practical solutions to environmental challenges or security needs. Some were built to escape harsh climates, providing stable temperatures in regions where the heat of the sun or the cold of winter made life on the surface difficult. Others were designed as refuges during times of conflict or invasion, allowing entire communities to live and work undetected for long periods. Yet the scale and complexity of some subterranean complexes are astonishing. Multi-level cities with ventilation systems, storage rooms, living quarters, and escape tunnels demonstrate a sophistication that rivals above-ground construction. These spaces reveal both the practical ingenuity and the social organization of their builders, highlighting human adaptability in ways that continue to inspire modern engineers and historians alike. The labyrinthine nature of many underground complexes adds to their mystique. Twisting passageways, hidden chambers, and secret entrances create an environment that is as psychologically intriguing as it is physically complex. Navigating these spaces requires not only skill but imagination, as we attempt to reconstruct the lives of those who once moved through these corridors with purpose and familiarity. How do they ensure safety and ventilation? How do they manage the flow of light and air, the storage of food, or the care of the sick and elderly? Each passageway and chamber invites the mind to wander through centuries of human problem-solving, resourcefulness, and silent endurance. Subterranean discoveries are often found in clusters, revealing entire networks that stretch beneath towns, mountains, or valleys. In some cases, these networks connect multiple communities, suggesting a level of planning and cooperation that challenges our understanding of ancient civilizations. The underground realm is not merely functional. It often contains spaces for worship, communal gathering, or ceremonial activity. The juxtaposition of everyday practicality with spiritual or symbolic purpose reminds us that human life, even beneath the surface, was rich with meaning, ritual, and reflection. It is a quiet testament to the human desire to maintain culture, identity, and continuity, even when hidden from view. Artifacts found in subterranean contexts add yet another layer of intrigue. Tools, pottery, inscriptions, and ritual objects discovered in these hidden spaces provide hints about the beliefs, daily activities, and technical knowledge of those who live there. In some cases, items are found that seem advanced for their time or purposefully placed in ways that remain enigmatic. The mystery of these objects, combined with the secluded spaces in which they are found, enhances the sense of wonder and quiet suspense. Each artifact is a whisper from the past, inviting contemplation about lives lived in shadow, hidden from the passage of surface history. In addition to human-made structures, natural formations often play a role in subterranean settlements. Caves, grottos, and underground springs were sometimes expanded and adapted into functional spaces. The fusion of natural and human-made architecture demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of geology, resource management, and environmental adaptation. Builders carefully shape the earth to suit their needs, integrating natural features into dwellings, storage areas, and sacred spaces. This delicate balance between nature and human intervention creates a silent harmony, a subtle reminder that our ancestors often worked with the world around them, rather than merely imposing their will upon it. The psychological effect of exploring these underground realms is profound. Darkness, silence, and the narrow confines of tunnels evoke a sense of intimacy and reflection. Unlike the grandeur of towering monuments, subterranean spaces encourage introspection. They allow the imagination to roam freely, imagining daily routines, social hierarchies, and the quiet moments of human connection that persisted in shadowed corridors. This intimacy fosters a unique connection between modern observers and ancient inhabitants, bridging centuries of human experience in a calm, meditative way. The secrecy and concealment inherent in these underground complexes also contribute to their mystery. Hidden for generations, sometimes forgotten entirely until accidental discovery, these spaces remind us that history is not always linear or visible. Layers of earth and rock preserve stories that surface narratives might overlook. In some cases, subterranean networks were used for communication, defense, or escape, demonstrating strategic thinking that suggests a sophisticated understanding of both geography and human behavior. Each hidden corridor or chamber encourages speculation, contemplation, and quiet wonder, underscoring the delicate balance between knowledge and uncertainty that defines much of the past. Some underground spaces also hint at spiritual or ceremonial significance. Temples, altars, and ritual chambers have been discovered beneath the surface, suggesting that subterranean life was not purely practical, but also symbolic. The quiet darkness of these spaces may have enhanced the contemplative or ritual experience, creating a setting in which humans could connect with the unseen, the divine, or the cyclical rhythms of nature. These discoveries emphasize that mystery and meaning often coexist, and that human ingenuity extends beyond survival to encompass reflection, ritual, and an enduring fascination with the unknown. Artifacts and architecture alike convey a profound sense of continuity. Though centuries may separate us from the inhabitants of these subterranean cities, the care and precision evident in their construction create an unbroken line of human intention and creativity. Ventilation shafts, hidden staircases, and cleverly concealed chambers reveal minds deeply attuned to both the practical and the imaginative. Objects placed intentionally in hidden corners, ceremonial items, tools, or offerings, suggest a desire to preserve knowledge, culture, and memory for those who might come after, even if those successors were centuries removed. Exploring these underground spaces gently reminds us of the resilience and adaptability of human societies. Even in shadowed corridors, hidden from view and vulnerable to the passage of time, people thrived, built, and created meaning. The juxtaposition of darkness and ingenuity, concealment and communication, ordinary life and ceremonial practice underscores the richness of the human experience. Subterranean discoveries are thus both historical and philosophical, offering not only factual insight but also quiet reflection on human creativity, adaptability, and the enduring allure of mystery. As we rise from these hidden depths, our minds carry the silent echoes of corridors, chambers, and subterranean sanctuaries. The knowledge, ingenuity, and enigma preserved underground set the stage for our next exploration. The strange structures of stone and crystal, where human skill and natural materials intersect in ways that continue to challenge our understanding. The mysteries of what lies beneath remind us that history is layered, complex, and often hidden, encouraging a contemplative and curious approach as we continue to unravel the extraordinary tapestry of ancient discoveries. Amid the landscapes of ancient civilizations, there exist structures that defy easy explanation. Crafted from stone, crystal, and other naturally occurring materials, these constructions blend human skill with the subtle intricacies of the earth itself. Unlike simple shelters or pragmatic buildings, these structures embody a delicate interplay between form, function, and perhaps even the spiritual or symbolic. They rise from the land with a quiet, almost mystical presence, drawing attention not only to the labor invested in their creation, but to the intent that guided their design. Each formation, each polished surface, each precisely placed block or crystal fragment seems to whisper of knowledge that has been partially lost to time, challenging our understanding of what ancient people could conceive and accomplish. Some of these structures are monumental in scale, built with enormous stones or crystal-like materials that, even today, are difficult to move or shape without advanced technology. In certain locations, massive blocks fit together with such precision that it is impossible to insert even the thinnest blade between them. The effort required to quarry, transport, and assemble these stones suggests an intimate understanding of geometry, balance, and the physical properties of materials. Equally fascinating are the structures where natural crystalline formations have been integrated into human construction, suggesting a reverence for the earth itself or perhaps an awareness of the energetic or symbolic qualities of these materials. The result is an environment where human ambition meets natural wonder, and where every angle, surface, and alignment may hold significance beyond what is immediately visible. In addition to scale and precision, many of these structures display intricate patterns, carvings, or alignments that hint at astronomical or geometric knowledge. Some ancient builders oriented stones to align with the solstices, equinoxes, or the rising of particular stars, suggesting that observation of the heavens was not merely practical, but deeply woven into cultural, religious, or ceremonial life. The symmetry and complexity of these alignments often go unnoticed at first glance, revealing themselves only upon careful measurement and contemplation. Such precision invites reflection on the level of understanding possessed by these ancient cultures and the ways in which their worldview may have integrated the cosmos, the earth, and human activity into a seamless whole. The use of crystal and mineral in some ancient structures adds another layer of intrigue. Certain sites incorporate large slabs of crystalline material, often polished or arranged with geometric intent, suggesting a symbolic or energetic purpose. Whether intended for ceremonial, spiritual, or observational functions, these crystalline constructions indicate a relationship with natural materials that goes beyond practicality. The interaction between human intention and natural formation imbues these sites with a sense of mystery, as though the builders were attuned to forces or qualities that remain largely enigmatic to modern observers. There is an almost meditative quality in imagining the careful placement of each stone or crystal fragment, the slow, deliberate work guided by both knowledge and intuition. The quiet majesty of these stone and crystal structures is heightened by their locations. Many are found in elevated or remote regions, places that require effort and determination to reach. Mountains, cliffs, plateaus, and isolated valleys were often chosen, not only for their strategic or environmental advantages, but perhaps for their symbolic resonance as sites closer to the heavens, places imbued with energy or meaning. The interplay between natural terrain and human construction creates a sense of harmony, an unspoken dialogue between the earth and the builders. As we imagine walking through these spaces, the mind is invited to slow, to take in each surface, shadow, and reflection, to observe the subtle dialogue between the built and the natural world. Beyond practical and symbolic considerations, some of these structures exhibit characteristics that challenge conventional engineering explanations. Stones of irregular shape are sometimes interlocked with such precision that modern tools are insufficient to replicate the fit. Certain constructions incorporate weight distribution, vibration resistance, or acoustic properties that suggest advanced experimentation or empirical knowledge of physics. Even without a full understanding of their methods, the effect on the observer is one of quiet astonishment as we recognize the skill, patience, and foresight required to achieve such results. These sites become a meditation on human potential, a reminder that creativity and ingenuity are timeless traits that transcend centuries. In some instances, carvings, inscriptions, or symbolic motifs appear throughout these structures, offering tantalizing glimpses into cultural, spiritual, or philosophical beliefs. These markings may depict cosmological diagrams, mythological narratives, or coded information whose meaning has been obscured by time. They serve as a bridge between tangible achievement and abstract thought, a connection between the physical act of construction and the conceptual or spiritual ideas that inspired it. The subtlety and intricacy of these motifs encourage a careful, contemplative engagement, allowing the mind to explore not only the technical prowess of the builders, but the depth of their imagination and worldview. The meditative quality of stone and crystal constructions is enhanced by the interplay of light and shadow. Sunlight, moonlight, or even the reflective qualities of polished surfaces can create dynamic effects, changing the perception of space over hours, days, and seasons. This interplay may have been intentional, designed to mark significant times of the year, create sacred atmospheres, or evoke awe in those who inhabited or visited these spaces. The subtle choreography of light, shadow, and material becomes a poetic reminder of human attentiveness to the environment and of a desire to create spaces that resonate not only physically but emotionally and spiritually. Even smaller, less monumental structures constructed from stone or crystal are not without mystery. Gardens, ceremonial platforms, or enclosures built with precision and care suggest that the principles guiding monumental construction were applied to more intimate spaces as well. These smaller sites often reveal cultural continuity, experimentation, and an integration of daily life with spiritual or symbolic considerations. They demonstrate that attention to detail, reverence for natural materials, and the pursuit of harmony between human activity and the natural world were not confined to grand projects, but permeated multiple facets of life. The allure of these structures lies not only in their craftsmanship, but in the questions they leave unanswered. Why were certain materials chosen over others? What methods enabled such precise construction without modern technology? What symbolic or practical purposes motivated the builders? These questions do not have simple answers, and perhaps that is precisely what makes these sites so compelling. They occupy a space between reality and imagination, between the known and the unknowable, offering listeners a gentle invitation to linger in contemplation, exploring both the evidence before them and the infinite possibilities beyond it. As we move from these extraordinary stone and crystal sites to the next chapter of mysterious discoveries, enigmatic inscriptions, and ancient scripts whose meanings have been lost, the groundwork has been laid for continued reflection. These structures remind us that human ingenuity, creativity, and curiosity are not confined to any single era or place. They show that our ancestors engaged with their environment, materials, and the cosmos in ways that challenge our understanding, inspire awe, and encourage a patient, meditative approach to history. Each stone, each crystal, each carefully placed block invites quiet attention, allowing us to slowly absorb not only the technical skill involved, but the enduring mystery and beauty of human achievement. Some of the most enduring mysteries of human history lie not in stone monuments or subterranean cities, but in the cryptic marks and inscriptions left behind by civilizations whose voices we can no longer fully hear. Ancient scripts, symbols, and carvings appear across continents, etched onto tablets, walls, and artifacts. They speak to a human need to record, communicate, and express. Yet many of these inscriptions remain undeciphered, their meanings veiled in the mists of time. Each mark, carefully crafted or spontaneously etched, is a whisper from the past, offering glimpses into thought, belief, and culture, while simultaneously reminding us of the vast unknown that still stretches across the centuries. Inscriptions often appear in contexts that deepen their mystery. Some are found on objects whose purpose is otherwise unclear, tools, ornaments, or ceremonial artifacts. Others are etched into stones placed in remote landscapes, their positioning suggesting a deliberate intent, perhaps for ritual, commemoration, or guidance. The materials themselves vary widely, from clay tablets baked in the heat of ancient ovens to delicate fragments of papyrus or inscriptions carved directly into rock faces. Each medium brings with it clues about the culture, resources, and technological capabilities of the civilization that produced it, while simultaneously posing questions that remain unanswered. Some scripts are partially understood, allowing us glimpses of ancient languages, trade records, or ceremonial texts. Yet even where partial comprehension exists, much remains ambiguous, open to interpretation, or fundamentally enigmatic. Symbols may represent sounds, words, or entire concepts, and without contextual evidence, their meaning is often speculative. This ambiguity is not a limitation, but a doorway. It allows us to inhabit the mind of the ancient writer, to imagine the thoughts, priorities, and worldview that guided their marks. In this quiet engagement with symbols, the past becomes a living, unfolding presence, inviting reflection and contemplation rather than demanding immediate comprehension. The undeciphered scripts are particularly haunting in their silence. Linear patterns, abstract symbols, or repeated motifs appear across artifacts and sites, yet resist translation. Examples like the Indus Valley script or Rongorongo of Easter Island suggest complex systems of communication whose logic and intent we have yet to reconstruct. Each symbol, whether geometric, pictorial, or abstract, is evidence of a sophisticated cognitive framework, hinting at literacy, organization, and cultural sophistication. Yet the inability to fully interpret these inscriptions creates a tension between knowledge and mystery, known and unknown, echoing the duality that runs through all great historical enigmas. Symbols and carvings often extend beyond simple communication. Many appear to encode religious, cosmological, or ceremonial knowledge. Alignments of symbols with celestial events, incorporation of recurring motifs, and repetition across multiple artifacts suggest intentional design and deep cultural significance. The act of inscribing may have been as much about ritual and meditation as about recording information. Observing these marks today, we are invited into that rhythm of thought and reflection, imagining the care and reverence with which they were produced and considering the worlds, physical, spiritual, and social, that gave them meaning. Even when inscriptions are partially understood, they often provoke more questions than answers. Measurements, counts, or repeated sequences may hint at calendars, mathematical systems, or astronomical observation. Yet, without full context, interpretation remains speculative. Each attempt to decipher these texts is a dialogue across millennia, a patient meditation on intention, culture, and knowledge. The challenge of understanding these scripts fosters a sense of connection with the past, where the act of inquiry itself becomes a bridge linking contemporary minds with ancient ones. The mystery is not a barrier, but an invitation to observe, reflect, and imagine. In some instances, inscriptions are intertwined with architectural or natural features, carved directly into walls, cliff faces, or integrated into ceremonial complexes. The relationship between symbol and space implies not only meaning but experience. The marks may have guided ritual movement, conveyed hidden knowledge, or created symbolic resonance within the landscape. These integrations of text, object, and environment demonstrate an attentiveness to both practical and metaphysical concerns, inviting contemplation of how human creativity can shape and be shaped by the physical world. Observing such sites encourages a meditative engagement, a quiet exploration of space, symbol, and intention. Artifacts bearing unknown scripts often accompany objects out of place or unusual construction techniques, creating layers of intrigue. A carved tablet might rest alongside a tool that seems advanced for its era, or near a stone structure whose purpose remains debated. These juxtapositions heighten the sense of wonder, suggesting that ancient civilizations combined intellectual, technical, and spiritual achievements in ways that continue to challenge modern understanding. Each layer, each artifact, and each inscription forms a small part of a broader tapestry, revealing patterns that encourage contemplation, curiosity, and a patient, reflective engagement with the past. The meditative quality of these inscriptions is enhanced by their visual and tactile nature. Some symbols are simple and geometric, while others are elaborate and flowing, their forms designed to capture attention, convey meaning, or evoke a particular rhythm or aesthetic. The act of tracing these marks with the eyes, or imagining their creation, creates a connection to the individuals who produce them. It is a quiet dialogue that transcends time, reminding us that history is composed not only of events and dates, but of human thought, intention, and expression. The subtle beauty and complexity of these inscriptions reward careful attention, fostering a calm, contemplative state ideal for reflection and nighttime listening. Inscriptions, scripts, and symbols also invite speculation about knowledge lost. Some may encode information about astronomy, mathematics, or medicine. Others may preserve cultural narratives, spiritual philosophy, or historical events that have otherwise vanished. The uncertainty of interpretation does not diminish their value. Rather, it enhances their role as conduits of mystery and curiosity. In engaging with these ancient marks, we become part of a process that extends over millennia, observing, interpreting, questioning, and reflecting. The inscriptions are silent guides, encouraging patience, focus, and a gentle curiosity that deepens with each encounter. Finally, Ancient scripts remind us of the fragility and resilience of human knowledge. Some civilizations left extensive written records that were lost, destroyed, or remain undeciphered. Others left only fleeting traces of ink or carved symbols. Yet the very survival of these inscriptions, sometimes in the most hostile conditions, is a testament to the enduring desire to communicate, to record, and to connect across time. Each undeciphered mark, each enigmatic sequence, is a quiet challenge, urging us to consider what knowledge once existed and what it might teach us if we can only unlock its secrets. As we move from these enigmatic inscriptions into the next chapter, strange artifacts that defy classification, materials, or function, the mind carries forward a sense of curiosity and wonder. The scripts, symbols, and carvings we have explored remind us that history is as much about questions as it is about answers. They highlight the richness of human expression, the complexity of thought, and the enduring allure of the unknown. Each mark encourages us to linger, to reflect, and to imagine, preparing us for the continued journey into the mysterious, the extraordinary, and the inexplicably human achievements that populate the ancient world. Across the vast expanse of time, humans have always looked up at the night sky with a sense of wonder and quiet awe. The twinkling stars, the wandering planets, the pale glow of the moon, all have whispered secrets that civilizations long gone sought to understand. From the deserts of Egypt to the highlands of Peru, ancient peoples observed the heavens with an attention and precision that can still astonish us today. Their observations were not casual. They were woven into the very fabric of life, guiding planting and harvesting, ritual and ceremony, marking the passage of time and the turning of the seasons. Yet, what is perhaps most astonishing is how these celestial understandings were inscribed into stone, bone, and metal, leaving behind traces of a knowledge that sometimes seems far beyond what we expect from their era. Across continents, we find structures aligned with remarkable accuracy to celestial events. Stone circles and megaliths mark the rising sun on solstices, their shadows falling in patterns that transform plain Earth into a cosmic calendar. Temples are oriented toward equinoxes, pyramids built in alignment with specific stars, as though the sky itself dictated the geometry of their sacred spaces. In Peru, the Nazca lines stretch across desert plains, giant symbols that can only be fully appreciated from above, some theorists suggest, designed with astronomical purpose. In England, the intricate geometry of Stonehenge has fascinated generations, its stones positioned to frame the summer sunrise with astonishing precision, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of solar and lunar cycles. Across the Pacific, stone platforms in Polynesia were aligned to track the movement of stars critical for navigation, enabling long voyages across the open ocean. In these alignments, one senses an intimate relationship between the people and the cosmos, a silent dialogue recorded in rock and earth, waiting for centuries to reveal itself. The discovery of artifacts that reflect celestial knowledge is equally captivating. Carved stones, painted pottery, and engraved tablets often depict stars, planets, or the phases of the moon. Some objects, small enough to hold in one hand, reveal mathematical precision that aligns with astronomical observations. The Antikythera mechanism, a remarkable bronze device recovered from a shipwreck off Greece, is a stunning example. A complex gear system capable of predicting lunar and solar eclipses, long before such calculations were thought possible. Even simpler artifacts, like star charts and calendrical carvings found in distant lands, hint at a shared human fascination with the skies. The contrast between the small, fragile artifact and the vast universe it represents is striking. It is as if these ancient people reached across time, attempting to grasp infinity with their hands and minds. There is a quiet poetry in imagining these ancient astronomers at work, their nights spent under the open sky, measuring shadows, tracking the paths of celestial bodies, and recording what they observed with painstaking care. Without telescopes, without modern instruments, they relied on careful observation, repetition, and remarkable ingenuity. We might imagine them drawing circles in the sand, aligning stones, noting patterns, and passing their knowledge orally or through symbols that endure even now. Their insights were not merely practical. They were deeply spiritual. Many of these celestial structures were intended as sacred spaces, aligning human activity with the cycles of the heavens. Life and death, ritual and labor, all intertwined with the movements of stars. The mysteries of these alignments endure because while we can observe and measure them, the meaning embedded in them, why a particular star mattered, why a specific angle was chosen, remains elusive, a silent conversation across millennia. The global recurrence of these alignments suggests something extraordinary, that despite vast distances and isolated cultures, humans independently developed similar ways of engaging with the cosmos. In some cases, structures built thousands of miles apart show striking parallels in orientation, form, and purpose. Were these coincidences evidence of convergent thinking or fragments of knowledge transmitted across forgotten networks? The answer remains uncertain, and the uncertainty is part of the allure. This tension between the known and the unknown, the calculable and the mysterious, draws us ever deeper into reflection. It reminds us that while we may measure angles and dates, we cannot fully experience the original sense of wonder that guided the hands of those who built these monuments. Even when modern science provides explanations, the emotional resonance of these discoveries persists. Observing that a pyramid aligns with a particular star is fascinating, yet imagining the awe and devotion of those who first observed that star in the dark of night and then labored to honor it in stone carries a different, almost sacred weight. There is a bridge across time in these structures, a reminder that curiosity, reverence, and wonder are timeless human traits. As we stand in the shadow of these ancient marvels, we are reminded that our own gaze into the night sky is part of a long continuum, a dialogue begun long before written history, a dialogue that continues silently in the stones, the lines, the skies above us. The mysteries of ancient astronomy also invite subtle reflection on what knowledge may have been lost. Some structures are now partially destroyed, some artifacts fragmented, their original purpose only partially understood. We are left to speculate, to piece together the intentions of people whose words and thoughts remain largely silent. The act of imagining their reasoning, of tracing the alignments with our eyes, becomes a contemplative meditation on human ingenuity, persistence, and imagination. It is a reminder that discovery is not only about what we uncover, but about the questions that arise when we confront the unknown. In this quiet exploration of ancient celestial knowledge, we find the perfect balance between fact and mystery. We recognize human skill and sophistication, yet we also confront our limitations in fully understanding the past. The stars that guided our ancestors continue to guide us in thought, if not in practice, drawing us into reflection on time, mortality, and the enduring search for meaning. Through these alignments, we are invited to slow down, to breathe, and to feel connected not just to history, but to the universe itself. The night sky, unchanged for thousands of years, continues to whisper, offering hints, posing questions, and leaving much to the imagination. It is a gentle reminder that the past is vast, layered, and often unknowable, yet in its mystery lies a quiet, profound beauty. Throughout history, humans have demonstrated a remarkable capacity for invention, often in ways that surprise us even today. Ancient discoveries frequently hint at technologies and engineering feats that seem astonishing when measured against the tools and knowledge supposedly available at the time. From intricate metalwork to devices that mimic modern machines, these artifacts suggest that human ingenuity was not only practical, but often deeply imaginative. In some cases, the sheer complexity of what has survived challenges our assumptions about ancient societies. The quiet, meticulous craftsmanship seen in these objects speaks of a patient, almost meditative attention to detail, as if the act of creation itself held meaning beyond mere function. Consider, for instance, the sophisticated metallurgy found in various corners of the ancient world. Objects forged from bronze, iron, and even alloys that modern scientists have had difficulty replicating reflect a deep understanding of chemical processes long before the formal study of chemistry existed. Some blades, tools, and ceremonial objects exhibit properties that suggest techniques lost to time, combining durability with intricate designs that could only have been achieved with exceptional skill. The contrast between the seeming simplicity of the society and the complexity of its technologies raises profound questions. How did these communities pass knowledge through generations? Were these techniques widespread or limited to secret guilds of artisans whose expertise vanished with them? The unanswered questions add layers of fascination and mystery to each discovery. Then there are mechanisms that verge on the miraculous, objects that seem almost anachronistic. The Antikythera mechanism, for example, is an ancient Greek device composed of interlocking gears capable of predicting the movements of celestial bodies, eclipses, and even certain calendar events. Its existence implies a sophisticated grasp of astronomy and mathematics, preserved in a compact, mechanical form. The precision of its construction, with gears cut to exact specifications, suggests knowledge that modern engineers have struggled to fully recreate even with contemporary tools. When we consider such devices, the line between the expected and the extraordinary blurs, leaving us to marvel at the ingenuity of people who lived thousands of years ago. Similarly, advanced water management systems reveal a combination of practicality and subtle genius. Aqueducts, canals, wells, and drainage networks are found in civilizations across the globe, from the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of South America. Some were designed to supply entire cities with water, while others may have served ritual purposes, channeling liquid in ways that reflected cosmological beliefs or spiritual symbolism. Ingenious devices, such as water clocks and early pumps, demonstrate not only a mastery of mechanics, but a conceptual understanding of principles that would only be formalized much later in history. In these instances, we see humans engaging with the physical world in ways that are both functional and deeply creative, blurring the line between technology and artistry. Even simple tools occasionally reveal profound sophistication. Carvings, levers, and measurement devices found across archaeological sites hint at systematic approaches to construction, agriculture, and navigation. These artifacts, often small and overlooked, remind us that the accumulation of knowledge is incremental, built from countless observations, experiments, and refinements. The act of creating such tools required not only intelligence, but imagination, an ability to envision possibilities beyond immediate necessity. Each object, whether mundane or elaborate, offers a glimpse into the thought processes of its makers, connecting us to minds separated from ours by centuries, yet remarkably like our own. The narrative becomes even more intriguing when we encounter anomalies, artifacts that defy conventional explanation, tools that appear too advanced for their time, objects whose function remains mysterious, or constructions that suggest knowledge of principles not thought to be discovered until millennia later. Some of these discoveries border on the enigmatic, leaving historians and scientists divided between cautious skepticism and genuine wonder. Were these exceptional achievements the work of isolated genius, lost schools of knowledge, or hints of civilizations we have barely glimpsed? The uncertainty surrounding these objects enhances their allure, inviting reflection on the limits of our understanding and the vastness of what may remain undiscovered. In addition to practical inventions, symbolic or ritualistic artifacts reveal a fusion of technology and belief. Devices used in ceremonial contexts, whether for measuring time, tracking celestial events, or orchestrating movement and sound, demonstrate that ancient technology was not solely utilitarian. The creators often imbued their inventions with meaning, integrating them into the spiritual and cultural life of their communities. In this sense, technology was as much about connection between humans and nature, and between humans and the cosmos, as it was about efficiency. Such discoveries invite contemplation of a worldview in which knowledge, art, and belief were inseparably intertwined, offering a window into the priorities, imagination, and values of ancient people. The exploration of ancient technology also emphasizes the contrast between what we know and what remains mysterious. Modern science can explain certain methods or reconstruct some devices, but many others resist full understanding. We may grasp the mechanics, yet fail to appreciate the context, the learning process, or the cultural significance embedded in their use. The subtlety of design, the choice of materials, and the intended function often leave us speculating, reminding us that every artifact carries layers of story, skill, and intent that may never be fully recovered. In this space between clarity and uncertainty, curiosity thrives, encouraging a meditative reflection on human ingenuity and its persistence across time. These discoveries also illuminate the continuity of human creativity. When we compare ancient mechanisms with modern machines, we notice echoes of timeless problem-solving and design thinking. The principles of gearing, leverage, water flow, and measurement persist across millennia, connecting us to our predecessors in a silent conversation of ideas. By studying these ancient creations, we not only uncover the past, but also gain insight into the universality of human curiosity and invention. It is a reminder that the drive to understand, to manipulate, and to create is a thread running through every human society, linking the past with the present and the future. In reflecting on these technological marvels, there's a profound sense of humility. Each discovery challenges assumptions about the supposed simplicity of ancient life, revealing that complexity, ingenuity, and creativity are enduring human traits. The marvel lies not only in the objects themselves, but in the realization that thousands of years ago, people thought, experimented, and created in ways that continue to inspire awe. Their silent legacy encourages us to look beyond the obvious, to find wonder in subtlety, and to embrace the mysteries that endure. In this way, ancient technology becomes more than an artifact. It becomes a quiet testament to human imagination, persistence, and the timeless pursuit of knowledge. By exploring these artifacts and the mysteries they embody, we are reminded that technology is not merely a product of progress, but also a reflection of the human spirit. It speaks of curiosity, patience, and an innate desire to understand and shape the world. The discoveries invite us to slow down, to marvel not only at the mechanics, but at the people behind them, and to reflect on the enduring connection between ingenuity and wonder. Each gear, tool, and construction is a whisper from the past, asking us to remember that human creativity has always been profound, surprising, and endlessly inspiring. Across the ages, humans have sought to understand not only the physical world, but also the unseen, the intangible, and the spiritual. Many ancient discoveries speak to this deep fascination with the invisible threads that connect life, death, and the cosmos. Temples, altars, sacred stones, ceremonial masks, and ritual vessels are scattered across continents, each a whisper from a past society trying to bridge the human and the divine. These artifacts, often buried beneath layers of earth or hidden in remote locations, offer glimpses into the beliefs, fears, and aspirations of civilizations long vanished. In examining them, one is struck by the contrast between the permanence of the structures and the ephemeral nature of the people who once animated them. While buildings endure, human voices fade. Yet, in the silence, these objects speak, hinting at rituals, practices, and meanings we may never fully decode. The very act of ritual, whether conducted in a dimly lit temple, an open-air circle, or within the privacy of a home, suggests an attempt to control, understand, or honor forces beyond comprehension. Archaeologists often uncover ceremonial artifacts that raise as many questions as they answer. Intricate carvings whose symbolism is obscure, tools whose exact use remains a mystery, and offerings placed with painstaking care in locations designed to endure centuries. The placement of these objects often hints at a profound understanding of space, energy, or cosmology. Perhaps they were aligned with the sun, the stars, or the cycles of the moon, blending the spiritual and the celestial into a cohesive worldview. Such discoveries illuminate a world where belief and daily life were inseparable, where humans interacted with their environment in ways both practical and deeply symbolic. In some cases, ritual sites are astonishing in their scale and sophistication. Temples with perfectly aligned corridors, pyramids with hidden chambers, and sacred groves carved into stone reflect an extraordinary investment of labor and imagination. The effort required to create these spaces suggests that they were not merely functional, but profoundly meaningful. Every stone, every carving, every placement may have carried significance, intended to channel spiritual power, honor deities, or mark transitions between life and death. The precision of these constructions evokes questions about knowledge systems that may no longer exist. Did these societies possess esoteric traditions passed down orally or through apprenticeship? Were some rituals reserved for a select few, their secrets carefully guarded? The unanswered questions lend a sense of reverent mystery to each site. Artifacts associated with rituals often reveal a subtle interplay between symbolism and utility. Vessels, tools, and decorative objects may have been employed in ceremonies involving offerings, feasts, or sacred performance. Some items appear purely ornamental, yet upon closer examination, their designs reflect astronomical knowledge, mathematical proportions, or symbolic patterns meant to communicate deeper truths. Masks and figurines may represent gods, spirits, or ancestors, serving as tangible links between the living and the unseen. The quiet power of these objects lies not in their material value, but in their ability to convey intangible meaning, to evoke a sense of connection across time and space. By handling or observing them, one is transported into the mindset of those who created them, gaining insight into how humans have always sought to make sense of existence. Burial practices also shed light on ritual and belief. Tombs and crypts, often carefully constructed and filled with offerings, reflect conceptions of the afterlife, protection, and remembrance. Some graves contain elaborate artifacts, suggesting the social or spiritual importance of the individual, while others are modest, yet no less meaningful. The positioning of bodies, the inclusion of tools, jewelry, or ceremonial items, all speak to a worldview in which life, death, and the cosmos were intimately connected. The meticulous attention to burial detail hints at an understanding that extends beyond the immediate physical world, acknowledging forces unseen and outcomes uncertain. Each tomb is a silent narrative, offering clues to how ancient humans perceived mortality, legacy, and the ongoing influence of the spirit in daily life. There's also a remarkable global consistency in some ritual practices. Across continents, from Asia to the Americas, from Africa to Europe, we see recurring motifs. Circles representing cycles, spirals symbolizing life or energy, and repeated use of fire, water, or earth as mediums of sacred action. While the cultural context varies, the underlying human impulse remains the same: to connect with something greater, to mark transitions, and to find meaning in the mysteries of existence. This universality underscores the shared nature of human curiosity, reverence, and creativity. Even as details diverge, the intention to honor, understand, or influence unseen forces resonates across cultures, bridging time and geography. The quiet mystery of ritual discoveries is heightened by the fact that their original context is often partially lost. Walls may crumble, inscriptions erode, and oral traditions vanish, leaving modern observers to interpret with fragmentary evidence. Archaeologists and historians approach these sites with careful analysis, yet there is always an element of uncertainty. What once carried immediate spiritual significance is now an artifact to be cataloged and studied, its living meaning muted. And yet, this very uncertainty invites reflection. It allows us to project, to imagine the experiences, emotions, and beliefs of those who once engaged with these objects and spaces. The mind fills the gaps, creating a dialogue across time between past and present, human and divine. In contemplating rituals and ceremonial artifacts, one senses a delicate balance between mystery and understanding. On the one hand, there is tangible evidence, structures, objects, and traces of human activity. On the other, there is the intangible, the purpose, the symbolism, the belief that imbued these creations with life. The interplay between the visible and invisible mirrors the human experience itself, where not everything can be explained or quantified. By observing these ancient practices, we gain insight not only into past cultures, but also into the timeless human need to seek connection, understanding, and transcendence. The lingering power of these discoveries lies in their ability to evoke wonder and contemplation. They invite quiet reflection, encouraging us to consider how humans have always sought to navigate uncertainty, honor the unknown, and articulate the profound aspects of existence through material expression. Ritual objects, sacred architecture, and ceremonial sites are more than historical artifacts. They are portals into human consciousness, each offering a moment of connection to lives lived long ago. As we move through these discoveries, we are reminded that mystery is not a void but a space for reflection, imagination, and awe. Through the lens of ritual and belief, ancient discoveries take on a deeply human dimension. They reveal the ways in which people confronted the unknown, structured their worlds, and sought to leave a lasting imprint on the cosmos, both seen and unseen. These discoveries, shrouded in silence and shadow, invite us to slow our pace, open our minds, and experience the delicate interplay of faith, intention, and creativity. In their quiet, enduring presence, they whisper across the centuries, offering a meditative passage into the hearts and minds of those who walked the earth long before us, reminding us that mystery and reverence are timeless companions in the human journey. Some discoveries from the distant past remain stubbornly elusive, defying explanation even as modern science strives to illuminate them. They stand at the edge of understanding, teasing us with fragments of information that hint at extraordinary knowledge or lost practices. From anomalous skeletal remains to peculiar artifacts and enigmatic structures, these findings suggest that human history may contain chapters still beyond our grasp. Their very existence blurs the line between what we know and what we can only speculate about, inviting a sense of wonder and quiet contemplation. The air of mystery is not frightening, but gently provocative, drawing the mind inward, encouraging reflection on the possibilities that lie hidden beneath time's layers. In some parts of the world, researchers have uncovered skeletal remains that do not fit conventional expectations. They may display unusual size, proportions, or features that differ significantly from contemporary humans. While some explanations propose environmental adaptation or genetic variation, other hypotheses remain tantalizingly open-ended. The remains are often accompanied by artifacts or burial practices that are equally confounding. Objects of unknown purpose, materials that seem technologically advanced, or arrangements that suggest ritualistic or symbolic intention. Each find is a puzzle piece, and yet when placed in the broader picture of human history, it seems to fit imperfectly, leaving gaps that spark curiosity rather than closure. Other anomalies exist, not in the form of bones, but as structures whose design or placement defies conventional explanation. Across deserts, forests, and mountains, we find walls, platforms, and monuments whose construction techniques remain uncertain. Some consist of stones cut and positioned with remarkable precision, yet no records of the methods used have survived. Others are aligned to celestial phenomena, even when the culture that built them had no documented astronomical knowledge. These sites are quiet reminders of human ingenuity, yet their purpose is often obscured by the passage of time. Scholars and enthusiasts alike are left to ask, were these constructions intended for practical use, ritual observance, or something altogether different, perhaps even lost to memory? The unanswered questions heighten the sense of mystery, offering an invitation to ponder alongside those who first encountered them centuries ago. Certain artifacts defy categorization, appearing technologically advanced or culturally unexpected for their time. Tools or objects crafted with precision, using materials or techniques thought unavailable in their era, provoke both admiration and skepticism. Some items resemble mechanisms or instruments that mirror knowledge not typically associated with their historical context. While some may argue for coincidence or misinterpretation, the sheer number and diversity of these anomalies suggest that ancient societies may have experimented, observed, and invented in ways that have been mostly erased from the historical record. This delicate balance between evidence and enigma keeps the mind gently alert, stimulating imagination without ever forcing a conclusion. Geological anomalies sometimes add to this sense of puzzlement. In certain regions, formations suggest human intervention where none should have been possible. Terracing, unusually shaped stones, or patterns in the landscape hint at intentional design, yet no records confirm the creators or their purpose. These features often exist alongside known archaeological sites, challenging our understanding of the technological and cultural capabilities of ancient populations. Observing them, one feels a subtle tension between the natural and the artificial, as though the earth itself preserves secrets that humans have only partially deciphered. The ambiguity fosters a contemplative mood, perfect for reflecting on the unknown and imagining histories lost to time. In some cases, submerged or hidden artifacts continue to resist explanation. Sunken cities, boats, or structures unearthed beneath layers of sediment reveal societies whose knowledge of engineering, construction, or urban planning surpasses expectations. Their discovery often prompts a reevaluation of accepted timelines, showing that humans may have achieved sophistication in ways previously unrecognized. Even when partially explored, these sites evoke a quiet awe. The careful positioning of stones, the remnants of buildings, the faint traces of everyday life preserved underwater or underground, all hint at narratives we can only partially reconstruct. There is beauty in this incompleteness, a reminder that not all knowledge can be fully captured or interpreted. The global nature of these unexplained phenomena adds another layer of fascination. From Africa to South America, from Asia to Europe, discoveries emerge that share similar characteristics. Unusual construction techniques, enigmatic artifacts, or skeletal remains that challenge conventional understanding. These parallels suggest that human curiosity, creativity, and perhaps even experimentation transcended borders and eras. Even when there is no direct connection between civilizations, the recurrence of anomalies hints at universal questions faced by our ancestors, from understanding the environment to exploring the limits of human capability. Observing these similarities inspires a sense of shared wonder, linking disparate cultures across time through the common pursuit of knowledge and the encounter with mystery. The quiet power of these discoveries lies not only in their strangeness, but also in their ability to evoke reflection. They remind us that history is not a linear, fully documented story, but a tapestry woven with gaps, absences, and unanswered questions. Each anomaly invites us to slow our pace, to consider multiple perspectives, and to entertain possibilities beyond conventional explanations. There is a meditative quality to this contemplation, a gentle engagement with the unknown that fosters curiosity, imagination, and humility. The mysteries become a mirror, reflecting both the ingenuity of ancient peoples and the limits of our modern understanding. Even when science offers potential explanations, the emotional resonance of these anomalies persists. Understanding a structure's function, a skeletal variation, or an artifact's origin does not diminish the sense of wonder. Rather, it enhances appreciation for the skill, observation, and creativity of the people who produce them. The tension between explanation and mystery, between what can be known and what remains elusive, is at the heart of the fascination with ancient discoveries. It encourages a balance between reason and imagination, prompting quiet reflection on the vastness of human history and the enduring complexity of our world. These unexplained phenomena also encourage a deeper meditation on human ambition and perseverance. Across millennia, people have strived to build, to create, to understand, and to leave a mark on the world. Even when their methods or purposes elude us, the traces of their effort remain, inviting recognition and reverence. The anomalies are not merely puzzles. They are reminders of the continuity of human curiosity, the persistent desire to explore, to experiment, and to leave a legacy that speaks across time. Each discovery, enigmatic as it may be, carries the quiet testimony of minds and hands devoted to exploration, artistry, and understanding. In this quiet, reflective space, the unexplained serves a gentle purpose. It draws attention to the beauty of uncertainty. It encourages us to accept that some questions may never be fully answered, and that this very unknowability is part of what makes history compelling. The anomalies of the past, whether skeletal, structural, or technological, become companions in contemplation, guiding us to consider the ingenuity, creativity, and persistence of humanity as a whole. They remind us that wonder does not always require resolution, and that the act of curiosity itself is a profound connection across time. As we observe these stubborn mysteries, we are invited into a meditation on the interplay of fact and enigma, of what can be known and what must remain imagined. The discoveries gently encourage patience, reflection, and openness, allowing the mind to wander across centuries, to inhabit the perspectives of those who lived long before, and to appreciate the enduring depth of human endeavor. In this balance between knowledge and mystery, we find both fascination and calm, a quiet engagement with the ancient world that leaves us connected to its complexity, beauty, and enduring secrets. Across the sweep of history, patterns emerge that hint at connections between civilizations separated by oceans, mountains, and centuries. These patterns, whether found in art, architecture, or symbolic representation, suggest a subtle thread woven through human creativity, curiosity, and observation. Spirals carved into stone, repeated geometric shapes, celestial symbols, and recurring motifs appear in cultures that may have had no direct contact with one another. The recurrence of these forms invites reflection. Are they simply coincidental, the natural result of similar human thinking, or do they point to a more profound, perhaps forgotten, shared knowledge? Even when the origins of these patterns remain obscure, their presence across time and space evokes a quiet sense of wonder, suggesting that some ideas resonate universally with the human mind. In ancient art, for example, spirals, circles, and waves appear in cave paintings, pottery, and carvings from far-flung regions. A spiral in a European Neolithic tomb may echo a similar form found in South American pottery thousands of miles and centuries away. Geometric patterns appear in textiles, mosaics, and stonework, reflecting both aesthetic sensibility and possibly symbolic or mathematical understanding. Even where practical function is absent, the repeated use of these forms hints at shared patterns of thought, the ways in which humans perceive balance, harmony, in the natural world. These motifs may have carried symbolic meaning related to life cycles, water, celestial bodies, or spiritual concepts. Yet their recurrence across civilizations suggests a universality in human cognition. Architecture also provides compelling evidence of these recurring motifs. Across continents, we find structures aligned with cardinal points, sunrises, or solstices, despite vast differences in culture and technology. Temples, pyramids, and ceremonial platforms often mirror each other in shape, proportion, or orientation, raising questions about the universality of design principles. Could these similarities reflect common solutions to shared problems, such as tracking the sun, organizing space for ritual, or conveying authority through monumental form? Or might they hint at knowledge transmitted across cultures through networks now lost to history? The parallels are rarely exact, yet they're striking enough to suggest that humans have long approached the natural world and their own societies with similar insight and creativity. Mathematical patterns are another area where these connections appear. The use of symmetry, proportion, and numerical relationships is evident in objects and structures across eras and continents. Ancient builders often incorporated ratios that harmonize visually or serve functional purposes, revealing an intuitive grasp of principles later formalized as mathematics. Even in the absence of written documentation, the recurrence of these ratios indicates a shared understanding of form, balance, and the interplay between function and aesthetics. These patterns speak to the universality of human logic and the capacity for abstract thought, linking the distant hands that shaped stone, clay, or metal in different corners of the world. Celestial motifs frequently accompany these patterns. Symbols representing the sun, moon, stars, or constellations appear repeatedly in art, carvings, and architecture, connecting human creativity with observation of the heavens. The consistent depiction of celestial bodies across isolated cultures suggests that the night sky inspired remarkably similar responses in human imagination. Observing these patterns, one can sense a quiet reverence for the cosmos, a recognition of forces beyond immediate comprehension, and a desire to record, honor, and understand them. The alignment of structures with celestial events, combined with repeated symbolic forms, hints at the existence of shared ways of engaging with time, cycles, and the universe itself. Even in seemingly utilitarian objects, recurring patterns emerge. Tools, utensils, and domestic items are often decorated or shaped with motifs that echo those found in ritual or artistic contexts. The presence of these forms in everyday life suggests that humans have long imbued even ordinary activities with aesthetic or symbolic meaning. Patterns thus bridge the sacred and the mundane, reminding us that human perception and creativity rarely remain confined to one domain. Whether in a ceremonial site, a dwelling, or a functional artifact, these recurring designs invite reflection on the universality of human experience and the desire to create order, beauty, and meaning. The presence of these patterns across distant civilizations also encourages contemplation of what knowledge may have been shared or independently discovered. Anthropologists and historians debate whether similarities arise through coincidence, parallel innovation, or lost connections between societies. The absence of direct evidence makes certainty impossible, yet the patterns themselves endure, speaking silently across time. They act as a bridge between the known and the unknown, between civilizations separated by space and the gaps left by time. In observing them, one participates in a quiet meditation on human creativity, the limits of our understanding, and the enduring fascination of uncovering echoes of thought and design that transcend individual cultures. There's a subtle, almost hypnotic rhythm to recognizing these patterns. The repetition of forms, the echo of shapes, and the recurrence of motifs create a sense of continuity that spans millennia. Each spiral, circle, or celestial depiction invites viewers to imagine the minds that conceived it, the environments that inspired it, and the meanings it may have held. The effect is both calming and intellectually engaging, perfectly suited to reflection or quiet contemplation. In this way, patterns become more than aesthetic curiosities. They are portals into the collective imagination of humanity, offering insight into shared ways of seeing, thinking, and interpreting the world. Patterns also serve as reminders of human curiosity and the search for order. Across cultures, humans have sought to understand natural phenomena, to map the heavens, to structure societies, and to symbolize concepts of life, death, and spirituality. The recurrence of similar forms across isolated civilizations suggests that certain ways of engaging with reality are perhaps universal. These patterns connect us not only to distant ancestors, but also to the fundamental ways in which humans perceive, interpret, and create meaning in the world. They whisper across time, revealing that although cultures may diverge, certain impulses towards symmetry, observation, and symbolic representation remain remarkably constant. In reflecting on these recurring motifs, we are reminded that human creativity is both individual and collective. While each civilization produced its own unique works, the recurrence of similar forms highlights shared cognitive frameworks, aesthetic sensibilities, and responses to the environment. Observing these patterns invites a quiet contemplation of the enduring qualities of human thought, our attention to balance, our fascination with the heavens, and our ability to imbue objects and spaces with meaning. These discoveries do more than inspire curiosity. They evoke a gentle reverence for the continuity of human imagination across time and space. Finally, the universality of patterns encourages a meditative engagement with history. They remind us that although much of the past is lost or obscured, echoes remain, waiting to be noticed, contemplated, and appreciated. The repetition of forms across time and place offers a subtle rhythm, a soothing cadence that links civilizations, landscapes, and centuries in a quiet, unbroken dialogue. In following these patterns, we participate in a timeless conversation, tracing the impulses, observations, and inspirations of humanity itself. Through this lens, history becomes not merely a sequence of events, but a living tapestry of ideas, shapes, and symbols that speak softly across the ages, inviting calm reflection, imagination, and wonder. As we reflect on the tapestry of human history, it becomes clear that much of what was once known has been lost, forgotten, or obscured by the passage of time. Countless artifacts, structures, and writings may have once carried profound significance, yet they now linger in silence, waiting for rediscovery. Some are deliberately hidden, buried for protection, ritual, or secrecy. Others simply faded as civilizations rose and fell, leaving only fragments behind. Even the discoveries that survive often arrive to us incomplete, whether by centuries or millennia, offering tantalizing glimpses of what was but never the full story. In contemplating these forgotten elements, we are invited to embrace the unknown, to acknowledge that the historical record is only a partial reflection of human creativity, ingenuity, and understanding. Lost knowledge can be found in subtle traces as well as monumental artifacts. Fragments of inscriptions hint at languages that have vanished. Patterns etched into pottery speak of ideas and symbolism whose meaning we may never fully decode, and the foundations of structure suggest techniques that modern engineers struggle to comprehend. Some objects, initially dismissed as ordinary, reveal upon closer study extraordinary craftsmanship or complex purpose. They remind us that history is not merely written in grand monuments or famous texts, but in the quiet, overlooked details that endure against the odds. Each overlooked discovery carries with it a whisper of lives lived, of thoughts imagined, and of knowledge that once shaped the world. The disappearance of knowledge is not always due to decay or neglect. In some cases, it is the result of deliberate erasure. Civilizations conquer, regimes rise and fall, and in the process, cultural memory can be lost. Temples are dismantled, libraries destroyed, and traditions suppressed, leaving only tantalizing hints behind. The remnants that survive may be misunderstood, misattributed, or reinterpreted by later generations. These gaps serve as a reminder of the fragility of human memory and the ease with which even sophisticated societies can leave little trace of their accomplishments. Yet, it is in these very gaps that mystery thrives, inviting us to imagine, reconstruct, and speculate about the richness of what once existed. In exploring forgotten history, we also encounter discoveries that challenge our assumptions about the development of civilization. Some artifacts and structures suggest levels of sophistication or connectivity previously thought impossible for their time. Tools, mechanisms, and construction techniques often indicate a depth of understanding that seems to have vanished with the societies that created them. Coastal cities now submerged by rising seas, mountain fortresses lost to erosion, and objects hidden in caves or tombs all point to chapters of human endeavor that we can glimpse but never fully read. These remnants are subtle reminders that history is not linear, that progress is uneven, and that what survives may represent only a fraction of human achievement. The reflection on forgotten history also encourages a contemplative awareness of our own place in the continuum of time. Just as civilizations have disappeared, so too will our own traces evolve, be buried, or fade in ways we cannot fully predict. The artifacts and structures that endure from the past serve as a gentle meditation on impermanence, reminding us that human lives, while finite, are part of a larger, ongoing story. In this sense, the forgotten is not only a testament to what has been lost, but also a mirror, prompting us to consider the legacies we leave and the mysteries that future generations may one day uncover. Some of the most poignant examples of lost knowledge are those that suggest sophistication in thought, art, or science that modern observers struggle to replicate or explain. Ancient engineering feats, celestial alignments, and symbolic artifacts hint at cultural, mathematical, or astronomical insights, now largely forgotten. Their existence evokes awe, not simply because of what was achieved, but because of the realization that human understanding can be both profound and ephemeral. These discoveries invite reflection on the limits of what we know, the potential for what might yet be rediscovered, and the humility required when confronting the vast expanse of human history. There's also a quiet beauty in the act of uncovering what has been forgotten. Archaeologists, historians, and explorers are engaged in a patient, almost meditative dialogue with the past. Each excavation, each careful study of an artifact, reveals not only physical traces, but also the thought, care, and creativity of those who came before. The forgotten is transformed, if only momentarily, into a bridge that connects present and past, allowing the imagination to wander through the lives and minds of those who shaped history in ways both familiar and enigmatic. In this way, even lost knowledge continues to influence, inspire, and stir a sense of wonder. As we contemplate the remnants of what history may have forgotten, we are drawn into a broader meditation on mystery itself. The gaps, the silences, and the inexplicable elements are not failures of history, but invitations, an open space in which curiosity thrives. They allow us to consider what might have been, to imagine civilizations, ideas, and technologies that existed beyond our current understanding. The interplay between what is known and what is unknown creates a rhythm, a subtle tension that encourages quiet reflection, patience, and awe. In embracing the forgotten, we acknowledge that history is not a fixed narrative, but a living, breathing story with threads that stretch beyond our comprehension. Ultimately, the forgotten past reminds us that mystery is an enduring companion to human existence. Even as discoveries emerge, they often reveal further questions rather than definitive answers. Lost knowledge, hidden artifacts, and vanished civilizations encourage a meditative engagement with history, one that balances observation with imagination and fact with wonder. In this space, viewers are invited to experience the beauty of history's impermanence, the thrill of discovery, and the profound satisfaction of contemplating the unknown. The forgotten becomes a quiet teacher, inviting us to slow our pace, open our minds, and appreciate the depth, complexity, and enduring allure of human history in all its mysteries. As we draw our journey through these myriad ancient discoveries to a close, there's a profound sense of quiet awe that lingers, a feeling that the past is not only behind us, but woven into the present in ways both subtle and enduring. Each artifact, structure, An anomaly we have explored carries within it the story of human curiosity, ingenuity, and imagination. From the grandiose pyramids to the smallest carved amulet, from celestial alignments to enigmatic mechanisms, we glimpse the restless minds of people who sought to understand the world, to honor the unknown, and to leave a trace of their existence. There is a delicate tension in these discoveries, a contrast between what can be explained and what remains mysterious, and it is precisely in this balance that the allure of history resides. The overarching theme that emerges is the universality of human inquiry. Across continents and centuries, humans have observed the heavens, experimented with technology, explored the natural world, and engaged in ritual and symbolism. Despite differences in language, culture, and environment, there is a continuity in the impulse to explore, to create, and to comprehend. This shared curiosity binds us across time, reminding us that the capacity for wonder is not a product of modernity, but a timeless feature of a human mind. It is a quiet reassurance that the people of the past, in their own ways, were not so different from ourselves. They too asked questions, made observations, and left clues for those who would follow. There is also a meditative quality in reflecting on the unknown. Many of the discoveries we have encountered resist full explanation, leaving fragments of knowledge, traces of civilizations, and unanswered questions. These silences, rather than frustrating, invite contemplation. They allow space for the imagination to roam, for the mind to wander through possibilities, and for a deeper appreciation of human endeavor. The mysteries themselves become a form of storytelling, conveying meaning without words, shaping our understanding not through certainty, but through the sense of wonder they provoke. Each unresolved question is a quiet bridge to the past, connecting us to the minds and hands that shaped history in ways both visible and hidden. In considering the patterns, motifs, and anomalies scattered across time and geography, we are reminded of the profound ingenuity that human beings have displayed throughout history. Technological artifacts that seem ahead of their time, monumental structures aligned with celestial events, and repeated symbolic motifs all suggest a sophistication of thought and observation that continues to inspire awe. The meticulous effort and creativity required to produce these works speak to a patient, deliberate, and deeply imaginative human spirit. Even when full understanding eludes us, the very act of discovery and reflection fosters a connection to our predecessors, linking our curiosity with theirs in a silent, enduring conversation. The interplay between fact and mystery is a recurring theme. Some discoveries are well documented and studied, their purpose and function largely understood. Others remain enigmatic, provoking questions that may never be answered. It is precisely this tension that gives ancient history its quiet power. In the spaces between knowledge and speculation, we find room for reflection, imagination, and awe. We are reminded that understanding is not always about resolution, and that the unknown is not a void, but a fertile space for thought and contemplation. By embracing both certainty and uncertainty, we honor the complexity of human experience across time. The reflection on these ancient discoveries also invites a contemplation of impermanence. Civilizations rise and fall, knowledge is lost and rediscovered, and the traces of human endeavor are subject to the passage of time. In this awareness, we gain a humbling perspective. Our own lives and the legacies we leave are part of a vast continuum. Yet even as time erodes physical evidence, the spirit of human curiosity endures, carried forward in the questions, observations, and creativity that each generation adds to the story. The discoveries we have explored serve as both testimony and inspiration, a reminder that human ingenuity persists, even when specific knowledge is forgotten or obscured. There is a poetic resonance in imagining the countless individuals who contributed to these discoveries: architects, artisans, astronomers, engineers, and ordinary people whose labor, observation, and imagination shaped the world. Though their names are lost, their work endures, silently teaching us about persistence, vision, and the pursuit of understanding. The monuments and artifacts are not merely objects of study. They are echoes of lives fully lived, each act of creation a bridge across centuries. In observing them, we feel a profound connection to the shared human experience, a recognition that curiosity, creativity, and the desire to explore are timeless qualities. Ultimately, the story of these mysterious ancient discoveries is a meditation on the enduring nature of human wonder. Each stone, carving, and device is a reminder that the past is alive in the present, waiting to be noticed, considered, and appreciated. The discoveries encourage a slow, deliberate engagement with history, inviting us to immerse ourselves in detail, to linger on the unknown, and to feel the quiet thrill of encountering the extraordinary. In doing so, we are drawn not only into the world of our ancestors, but also into a deeper awareness of our own capacity for curiosity, reflection, and imagination. As this journey comes to its conclusion, it leaves a gentle, lingering sense of connection and contemplation. The mysteries of ancient history, whether fully understood or only partially revealed, offer more than knowledge. They offer a way to reflect on time, creativity, and human persistence. They remind us that every generation builds on the discoveries of the past, and that the unknown is not a limitation, but an invitation. In this space of reflection, we find the quiet satisfaction of curiosity fulfilled not in final answers, but in the act of exploration itself. In the end, these ancient discoveries, whether monumental, technological, symbolic, or inexplicable, invite us to slow our pace, breathe, and meditate on the breadth of human history. They encourage reverence for the achievements of those who came before, humility in the face of the unknown, and wonder at the enduring mysteries that continue to shape our understanding. The echoes of the past persist in stone, metal, and earth, reminding us that history is not only a record of events, but a living, breathing narrative that continues to inspire, provoke thought, and ignite imagination. In listening to these whispers from the past, we are gently drawn into reflection, awe, and the quiet, enduring beauty of human curiosity across the ages.